I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Today I'm going to talk about racism in America. I'm biracial. My dad's black, my mom's white. And for a long time when I was a kid, I thought I had to identify with one or the other. When I got into high school, I realized that's not the case. And when it comes to biracial kids, half white, half black, it does seem that there's this idea that they have to be one or the other. And when it comes to being mixed or really light skinned, if you want to be accepted by the black community or by the black people that you hang around, it's almost like they have to be uber black, really extra, what's the term, ghetto or whatever. And the same thing if they want to be accepted by the white kids, they go to the extreme and become punk or goth or whatever. But I'm glad I realized in high school that I didn't have to choose. I'm just me. That's it. You either like me or you don't like me. I'll make the same decision towards you. I'm not catering to one side or the other. I've received racism from both sides, both races. But a majority of the time, I have seen more racism from the black community, black Americans. When I was in high school, I worked at a dry cleaner. This black lady came in to drop off some dry cleaning. And it was a Sunday, so it was just one person, me working there alone, was writing everything down on her ticket to get back to her. And she looked at me and she's like, "Yeah, I got a grandbaby that's like you." I looked at her, I was like, "What?" So yeah, he's mad at the world too because neither race will accept him. And I was like, "Excuse me?" I thought nothing of that little encounter, brushed it off. The next day, the manager tells me that the owner called her and said that I either had to quit or I was going to get fired. And it was all because that lady didn't like the fact that I was mixed. Recently, there's a huge rash of racial tension brought on by the media, and I don't think it's for good reason. I don't think that this country is as racist as the news puts it out to be. I mean, look at history, right? You got the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party retains around 90% of the black community's vote. And some people say that the Democratic Party traded the Jim Crow laws and the KKK that they started for the welfare state to keep retaining the votes. That might be true. That might not be true. Who knows? But when we see the stories in the news, like the Trayvon Martin case, the Michael Brown case, the guy that got choked in New York City and ended up dying, we're spoon-fed this narrative of racist cops. In Trayvon Martin's case, it was just a racist Mexican Jew. Should he have been following Trayvon Martin? Probably not. Was George Zimmerman an outright racist? Or was he just leaning on racial stereotypes and racially profiled Trayvon? That's a good possibility, and he probably did. When it comes to the Michael Brown case, I don't see how people can say that that was racially motivated. And the fact of the matter is he had just committed a robbery from a store, and almost immediately after the incident happened and he was shot by the cop, there's this narrative of hands up, that he was shot when he was surrendering to police. Even though there's evidence that shows that Michael Brown wasn't just some innocent teenager, a lot of people just don't want to hear that. And a lot of the media don't want to report on that because that doesn't really create a good story. Now, when it comes to the New York incident where the guy was choked by the police officers, they didn't try to kill him. Two officers that approached him and told him to, stop what he was doing, they came up to his neck. He's a big guy. And with big guys comes strength. When you watch the video, you can see them try to put handcuffs on him, and that's when he raises his hands really abruptly. They couldn't get his hands down his back to handcuff him. That's why they had to call other police. And he ended up choking him to try and pull him down. And it ended up crushing his windpipe and stuff, and he ended up dying. Was that cop acting out in a racist fashion? No, I think he was just trying to de-escalate the situation, get him under control because he was stronger than all those cops combined. And you see he's trying to pull him down with the unauthorized chokehold. He was so big he couldn't get his arms all the way around, and he ended up choking him with his forearm. I don't think that was racially motivated. And Freddie Gray, he ended up dying in police custody. How is that a racial thing when the mayor, half of the police force are black Americans? The people that arrested Freddie Gray, half of those cops were black. And it seems like Obama and his administration only react to those situations that can fuel division between the races, like Michael Brown, like Trayvon Martin. I think people in America are made to feel that racism is alive and well when it's dwindling. I get into conversations about race all the time, and when I talk to my black friends, it seems like around 80% of the time I'm on the white side, which I really don't think there should be a side, but I've been called too white, that I've chosen my white half when I don't think I do. I like to step back, look at both sides, and decide whether or not I should be open arms about it. And most of the time I'm not. There's a few things that I've gotten upset about. The fact that Hillary Clinton and a lot of the higher ups failed in Benghazi. Who's going to be held accountable for that? Probably no one. I saw a cartoon recently where it was talking about the race between the races, or whatever it was called. And it's a relay race. And there's two people of color and two white people. And immediately when the starter pistol goes off, the white people take off, but then the people of color are blocked and not allowed to go yet. And it's every lap, I guess, is like a year. And it goes through and it keeps going all the way up to 1964. And then finally in 1964, the people of color get the green light and they can start their race. But then they're brought down by racism, inequality, jail, violence, all that kind of stuff, while the white people just can continue the race, run at whatever speed they want. In fact, the white male, his lane on the track gets converted into an escalator where he doesn't have to run anymore. He just stands and he ends up the winner. If we keep pushing this idea that racism is such a big problem in this country, then it's going to keep that division between people. And I don't think it's right of the Obama administration to do that, to kind of fuel it, doing these press releases about how if Obama had a son, he'd be like Trayvon. No, he probably wouldn't. They would be mixed just like his daughters. And it's funny talking about Obama and race, right? Before Obama was elected president or started running for president, he was just another biracial dude. When he starts running for president, he's going to be our first black president. Now he's our first black president. No, he's not. He's our first mixed president. Now, Obama said that racism is in our DNA. And to a point, I do agree. People like to be around people that are like them, whether that be a like mindset or color of your skin, the culture you come from, or the culture you identify with. People tend to get in those groups. Another thing about racism is the Oscars. First off, who cares about the Oscars? What are the Oscars? They're a way for the actors, the people in the business, to award themselves for the things that they do. It's not like Oscars are elected by the people, the citizens of America. It's by the industry. And I guarantee you this wouldn't even have been an issue if Will Smith would have got nominated for an award.
If you continue to deny my work, the world will deny my work.
But because he wasn't nominated, he flipped his lid. His wife flipped her lid. Has there been racism in America? Yes, there has been. You can't deny that. My dad grew up during it, right? Or he grew up during the change that we had in our country. But it seems like today, a lot of black people want to cry like it's the civil rights movement all over again, when it's not. I forget the college now. There's a college that has all black dorm, so they feel safe. That's segregation, plain and simple. A lot of people fought, got hurt, and died during the civil rights movement to end that. And there they go, complaining that they need a safe space. Boom, segregation again. A little later on, I'll probably go more in depth into the whole racism. And more than likely, there'll be more news stories on racist events that happen in our country. And I'll talk about those. But that's my view on racism in America right now. I don't think it's as bad as the media puts it out to be. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. As always, comment below. Tell me what you think about what you think about this. If there's a subject you guys want me to talk about, let me know. Have a good one.